brains behind the post-election violence was Raila Odinga, because his campaign platform at the time was 41 versus 1. So it was 41 communities versus Kikuyus. And you need to read the ODM briefs and minutes that I've shared severally on X, and they're on my Telegram channel, where they're talking. You can literally see how Raila's deep-seated hate for Kikuyus is rife. So the only way that Ruto could have gotten Raila to the table is if he told him that these protests had one or the other, they had one association or the other with Mount Kenya. That was the only incentive. That was the only incentive that could have gotten Raila to the table, whereby now they said that by saving William Ruto, we are joining the government, we are joining the Kenya Kwisha shit show to save William Ruto, but we are saving him from what? So that Kikuyus don't benefit. So they needed to attach the protests to Kikuyus and to Mount Kenya, so as to get to rally politicians from all other communities. You see, now we are back to 41 versus 1. Now, never forget the fact that we kept saying we are leaderless, we are tribeless, we are partyless. We kept saying that. There was a TikToker, there was a content creator there called Anini Baraza. She did a viral video saying, Raila, stay at home. Let us finish the job. In fact, we can finish the job and hand this to you. You can imagine he sacrificed. He sacrificed presidency because the Gen Zs had told him, you stay at home. Don't interfere with whatever we are doing. You stay at home, and then we are going to give you, once we finish Kumalo, we are going to hand this presidency to you on a silver platter. He turned that down. Now, there must be some compelling reasons beyond money. Remember, money as a motive alone cannot drive somebody to abscond, to suspend their long-held values and beliefs. You understand? Money alone, there has to be some element of ideology. That's why even the people who go for political rallies or political meetings, before treetop, yes, we are having a critical thinking class. Before they pay you, if you are a politician, the politicians, what they do, before they give you the handouts, they don't just make it a habit to just land, to just land in whatever and just dish money on the road. What they do is they call you for a meeting, and then they radicalize you, inspire you, motivate you, call you to action, but the money you will be given afterwards. You understand? So here is the logic, here is the rationale. For Raila to come to the table, for Raila Odinga to come to the table and now decide, now we are going to save William Ruto, it was more than just money. There had to be a tribal, there had to be an ethnic element. And the ethnic element, the only way you can get Raila Odinga is if you are telling him we are here to destroy Kikuyus, that if you join here, you understand? You understand? Raila Odinga, his hate for Kikuyus is so pronounced. It is so deep-seated. It is so deep-rooted that anywhere you just need to tell him about Kikuyus. And I need you to look at what Gawucho is saying. I need you to look at what Gawucho is talking. What Gawucho is saying is he's the gramophone. He's the amplifier of Raila's depravity and mental impotence. I need you to get it again. He's the amplifier, he's the gramophone of Raila's depravity and mental illness. Now, when Gawucho is talking at Bunge la Mwananchi, the comments that he makes could not have been procured one day or 1 week. This is somebody who has been sitting with Raila, listening to him, having this off-the-cuff discussion, because I have been in the same situation. I've been with those boomers when they want me to push their agenda. They don't just call you to push an agenda. They first tell you, kuja kwangu nyumbani, tuongee. And then you go there, you talk. And then they tell you, let's meet here in a bar. And, that bar is not interactive, or that session or that forum is not interactive. You understand? So whatever you're hearing Gawucho regurgitating, that is Raila talking off the cuff. Raila has a script that he plays to the public gallery whenever he wants to project himself as a African statesman or a nationalist or freedom fighter or whatever you tag that you want to identify with him. But what you heard from Gawucho, that is now the real Raila Odinga. What I repeat it again because I don't want anything to be lost in context. Whatever you are hearing from Gawucho, that is the mind of Raila Odinga in a very unconventional delivery mechanism. You understand? So, for William Ruto to bait Raila Odinga, for him to bait Raila Odinga to join the Kenya Kwanza government and put a block on the maandamano of last year, there had to be something more than money. There had to be something more than cash. And it is deep rooted in the ideology. And the ideology of Raila Odinga is simple. Anything that will destroy the Kikuyu community, please allow me to land. Please allow me to land. It will only be a couple of more minutes. Allow me to land. I'm getting somewhere with my conversation. It will all connect. I'm not Mbanya who is just coming out of the blue to say Gema for Gema. It will all connect. It will all add up. If you are following, this is the 20 minutes, the most important 20 minutes of your life. So it will connect. Why do you have to go around? I have to go around because I don't want anything to be lost in context. I don't want to be misquoted. You hear when? That's why I'm going around in circles. I have to start from the history because you can never know where you're going until you know where you've been. You understand? We will never know where we are going because if we don't make sense of what is happening, you're going to get lost again. You're going to get triggered. You're going to get disrupted so that the next time tunarudi kwa maandamano, we will be focused. Because last time we were so distracted, easily gaslit. Now we will be focused. And that focus cannot be achieved when you don't know the shenanigans, when you don't know what is happening under the table. You understand? So Raila's belief system is deeply rooted in anti-Kikuyu sentiment. You understand? Raila's belief system, his entire DNA structure is built on anti-Kikuyu sentiment. So anything that involves displacing, mass murdering, depriving, Raila is on board. Again, if you go on X, you look at Gabriel Oguda, you look at GDP, Kaluma, that MP from that Homa Bay area, you look at December, there's a Twitter called, there's a tweet called December, and then there's another one called Collins Bay. If you look at those, and Robert Alai, if you look at those 5 accounts, dozens, they regurgitate what Raila Odinga's head. Understand? That is Raila Odinga's thinking. So, you need to understand. So, Raila's belief system, entirely, his DNA structure is hardwired with anti-Kikuyu sentiment. So the only way that William Ruto could have convinced Raila Odinga to come to the table was baiting him with anti-Kikuyu sentiment.